now.
Okay. Hi. I'm Thomas. I'm from the Lab 10 Collective. This is a cooperative in Austria, and we have about 36 members. I'm the head of the board, and we have been working on a blockchain system called ARTIS, and started that blockchain system back 2018 in November, and since then it's running smooth. And it's targeting the energy and the mobility market. We as a cooperative, we are heavily in that area, in that sector, in energy and mobility, and we're working on various kind of things like, from the Minerva wallet, and the artist is another thing what we're working on as a blockchain system. So basically working on a couple of layers within the whole stack, also on applications which are directly facing customers or on a B2B level. And we have been, as I said, back in 18, we started the ARTIS blockchain. The ARTIS blockchain is basically a POA network fork. So it works similar to the POA chain, and it has additional staking. So basically you're having a proof of authority network with an overall consensus, and you have additional stake you need to put up if you want to become a validator in that system. And now 2 years or 3 years almost later, the market has changed quite a lot, and now we started rethinking about how the Artis blockchain should continue to work and how it should develop. And actually, with the, let's say, DeFi craziness what is happening out there, we see a kind of a problem appearing, that basically applications which are not DeFi are driven away or can't really sustain on the current network. So I've taken here a curve which was presented by Vitalik back in 18, where he was explaining how important scalability technologies like sharding are. And he said, well, right now everything is 1 million times too expensive on the Ethereum network, and we need to have more beneficiaries by scaling the whole network. On the other side, what we see right now is actually that due to all the DeFi stuff which is happening, so the segment which is currently operative is rather narrowing. It's rather than broadening. So the potential future usage, that's actually the area where we have to be working, and energy and mobility is kind of in that area. So you need to get there. You can't pay those high transaction fees to interact with mainnet to get those use cases working. So basically, blockchain properties, if we kind of scale back, we say, well, we have our ARTIS network, but what really is needed for the energy market and the mobility market? So one thing is that you need stable or even zero transaction fees, and you need predictability in those markets. So you want to know, can I make a business and can it be sustainable over time? The other thing is it should be super fast. So basically, from a user perspective, it has to be, in a way, uh, ideally instant what you're doing, and that also reduces the kind of needed support structure on top of it. So like being ensured that something happens really when it's supposed to happen. The third one is by not eager to introduce new monopolies which control data and identities, people should stay in control of their data identities as well as money, of course. So that's important too. And the fourth one, by introducing a blockchain network, I think everybody would agree that we should not kill off the planet by wasting a lot of energy on running that network. So it must be also efficient in its energy usage. So looking at that one, we thought, okay, well, with the current ARTIS network, we can't kind of fulfill that. We can't kind of go there, and it should be in a way frictionless. So basically, people can hop on, hop off very easily. It should be real time. People and organizations, as well as IoT devices, should maintain the sovereignty, and it should be highly efficient in connection to energy usage. And um, therefore, we thought about three very essential things, and we have different timelines on those. So the first innovation we want to introduce is the honey badger consensus, and I'm pretty sure not everybody has a lot of time to think about all the possible consensus algorithms. So I tell a couple of words to this one. We have been developing that in connection with POA network. If you look at the timeline, the roadmap for XDAI chain, you find it as well there as a future kind of implementation for XDAI chain. And it was the development was started 18 by POA network. Then we kind of partnered 19 on it, and even after kind of our cooperation on this one for the development stopped, we continued on developing, and we are now confident to go for it in rather short time. Then the second one is superfluid data flows and cash flows, which is another thing we have been working on some time ago, which is basically streaming money. So you can, within a blockchain network, you can make tokens flow. So you can imagine it like a water hose. So basically, you're switching it on, and then with a certain flow rate, it flows from one account to the other account. And you only have to switch it on, and you have to switch it off, and you need just two transactions, and in the meantime it's flowing from one account to the other. So it allows completely different kind of use cases which we have not seen yet in the space. And the third one is two token stable chain design, as you know from XDAI. So the nice property is that if you have a stable coin, then you have far less problems with the gas and calculation. So right now, it's like if you have no volatile token, that helps a lot, and then it's just a question of how expensive or how congested the network is, and if that is actually kind of affecting the gas costs you have to pay. So coming back to Honey Badger, so this is super low latency. So meaning we're talking about block times of 1 to 2 seconds, and immediate finality. So this is like once you have a block, it's already final. There is no checkpointing or something like that. So it's once you have a block, it's signed, it's sealed, nothing changes. Also, what is a nice property here is you don't have those things what you know from DeFi right now through front running or minor extractable value, because even the validators don't know the final block and the content of the block and the ordering within the block. So they sign it, and once it is revealed to the validators themselves, they see it for the first time and can't change it anymore. So you don't have those kind of problems what you have in other consensus algorithms. So it's a very nice property, especially if you're looking at DeFi applications, but basically it's for all the applications a nice property because you can't kind of attack the network on that one. As I already said, so basically if you're looking at continuous data and cash flows, you can think of subscriptions, for example. So let's say you're applying for a data stream, and you pay it with a streaming payment, and as long as you pay for the streaming payment, you will get the data stream. If you're not paying anymore, you're not getting the data stream anymore. So you can combine those things very easily, but you can also think of exchanges which basically have a continuous flow of tokens from one account to the other, and so on and so forth. So basically it opens up a new kind of space of interaction, of payment, of data flows, of data token flows, and those kind of things. And what we're looking for, and we don't want to kind of repeat the dollar-based design what you have on XDAI anyway. We want to see a euro-based coin. So we are looking for the synthetics EUR for the coin on the network, and ATS, which is the current coin on the ARTIS blockchain, as a staking token, as you know from the stake token. So basically similar to XDAI, but Euro and ATS for it as a security token for the network. By the way, if you have any question in between, please just kind of jump in and ask the question. So it's like
just can you say what ATS is a little bit more?
well, ATS is as it is currently for the ARTIS network, for the ARTIS blockchain as it is running since 18. It is the coin for the network. So you pay with it the transaction fees. You pay with it if you transfer, and it's basically the value token like ETH is on Ethereum. So the system is the same. In the future, the ATS, so basically what we're envisioning is that the current blockchain as it is, it will kind of sunset, it will cease to exist. And we will have a coin movement from the current system via the XDAI chain towards the new chain once it is started. So then it is actually the now coin becomes a token on the new system. Is it clear?
Thank you so much.
Okay. So yeah, the honey badger is developed by the Lab 10. What I'm representing, Superfluid is developing the continuous cash flows, and they already have deployed it on a couple of networks. What we want to do with them is actually really make the euro coin on the new network natively supported in a way that you can stream it. So that's something which you can't find anywhere. So that you're even able to stream the coin. That's still to be implemented, but that would be super cool to have that really on the coin level, natively supported by the protocol, to have it streamable. And yeah, well, the two token design you know from XI chain anyway, so this is probably for others more different what they are not used to. So coming back to the application space, as I said, so it's like we are focusing on the energy and mobility markets, and not anything. So basically, we're not interested in coal, oil, or gas, or nuclear. Well, I might be okay with some of nuclear, but basically everything else is just renewables. In a way that our energy system is really looking for a massive transition, as well as the mobility system, and there we believe that blockchain in itself, as long as it's not proof of work, can actually provide a much um, better and seamlessly working environment for a lot of use cases. And that's the ballpark we want to be in, and that's where we wanna provide a system which helps that market or those markets to thrive on a blockchain system. So basically, important is to get the cost down, usability up, and access up. So basically, right now, let's say if you have a regular user out there and you would explain them how to install MetaMask, that they can interact with the system, you already lost them. So there is no way to go into mainstream markets with the things what we currently use in connection uh, with the use cases we are looking for, and the users we know basically are out there. So that's also a reason why we're working on the Minerva wallet as well. Um, so addressed markets. So to give you a little bit more kind of a what kind of markets are those? What we are looking at for building on such a system. So energy communities is one. So I realize that many of you are America or Canada. In Europe, the energy market is highly regulated. It's usually very yeah confined to certain energy utilities. But the European regulations on EU level, they're opening up the market. So basically, it now becomes possible that you're soon be allowed in all the European Union states that you are able to sell your energy to your neighbors and trade with them or form energy communities and exchange among them and make it. And it's even kind of needed that the countries they need to make it attractive for the people that they form those energy communities in order to speed up the energy transition. So basically having an influx of money to the transition in energy, to buy PV panels, to buy storage, and so on and so on. So another thing is asset tokenization. Of course, I mean it's like it needs a lot of investment, and all that investment should go towards assets which are uh, yeah, have to be installed. Basically, have to be paid back. All those things are super interesting if you're thinking about tokenized assets and make them tradable on secondary markets. Just the other day, I was talking to Ocean regarding data markets. If you're thinking about prediction models on data, be it energy data or weather data or uh, flood data or whatever, so it's like you can start thinking even in connection with the streaming ability that you're kind of applying to a service and you're paying like a subscription, and then you're uh, getting the data by providing the data token on a data marketplace. Physical internet is something like the internet, like you're sending around packages, and Amazon is having their large distribution centers, and they're usually like hub and spokes. And so basically, you're having kind of huge centers where you send everything and then you're starting delivering in the surrounding area. But you can think of in a very different way. So you're having smaller storage centers and you're sending it to the smaller storage centers and getting offloaded, which kind of is not on the next route for that particular truck, and you send it with another truck to some other area. So as soon as you're thinking of it having different operators of storages and different operators for the trucks, or maybe automated trucks at some point, and electric trucks, then it becomes such a complex system that you can't do the accounting anymore with the typical let us sign a contract, and once we signed the contract you need to follow that contract. So you can completely automate it on a physical level as well. So um, traveling, something super interesting, very hard to crack that nut. So here um, over, yeah, I don't know how long, 10 years or even longer, everybody's trying to allow me to go to London with let's say not by plane, but I want to travel sustainably, and I need different modes of traveling, and I want to book it all at once, and I want to go on that journey and show the tickets on that journey. So in my opinion, that can be ticketing can be easily done with verifiable credentials. Payment can be easily done on blockchain systems. Those things become a lot easier once you are breaking up that kind of very monopolized market in some areas. So it's basically you're traveling, you're having three major databases which do all the kind of flight data and hotel partially and rental cars and so on. So that's really a market which is 20 years old, or even older, which is ripe for disruption. And when we think about climate change, it comes to an interesting part regarding carbon markets. I mean, you know, all these kind of things where you can offset your carbon footprint. If you want to take it a little bit more serious in a way that you're really impacting carbon sequestration, then putting carbon into the soil, so basically improving soil fertility and putting carbon in there. There are more and more data available where you actually do satellite imaging and check basically what is happening. And there are companies like Sunified which go towards PV panel integration of power produced on those PV panels. So basically, you can really say that, let's say, electron or that power is generated from that PV panel, and you can be sure it's not kind of a greenwashed kind of certificately like made power. You're actually purchasing from your utility, which tells you it's green, but it's actually not green. It's just greenwashed, and that's going to be a huge market once people realize that they are fooled on that point. Then they really want to make sure that they get green power and be sure that they are not kind of supporting coal or whatever kind of gray or black energy. So those are the markets. Um, there are certainly many of those, and even if it's here like a data marketplaces, so it's like it means that there are plenty of those platform opportunities in that area, and each of one of those is actually a massive one. um, it's more in the physical area, so it's of course not so fast moving. And everybody thought back 5 years ago in 2016 when I basically joined the blockchain space that energy is going to be disrupted in the next 2 years with blockchain applications, which did not happen. But now the whole space is maturing, and now we're, in my opinion, getting closer to something substantial here. And also in our corporations, we see more and more interest coming from very serious companies on it. So talking a little bit about tokenomics, so that's usually also quite important how supply curves look like. So for ARTIS 2.0, so for let's say something for the current ARTIS blockchain network, we had this kind of standard inflation or have this kind of standard inflation setting. We have a 5 seconds block time, and every 5 seconds the current validator which did the block gets 1 ATS. So it's a fairly low inflation, but it's still an inflation-based system. The next system is supposed to have a initial total supply of 300 million ATS, and that's basically never going to be more. The initial circulating supply is meant to be about 90 million, and maybe something which is in a pool, and then it depends on is the pool already calculated for the circulating supply. But what we also want to do is, as I said, so we're starting with synthetics EUR as a coin, but there is a interesting implementation by Terra with their network. And what they actually do is they use the Luna coin for minting a stable coin. And once we use the ATS to create the EUR stable coin, we actually will burn some of the ATS. And that's a schematic curve. So as you can see, but the idea is that from an initial total token supply, the burning through the minting process for the stable coin will actually decrease the total amount of ATS, and over time reduce actually the coin supply based on this one, and you will have coins, and of course you have ATS as a staking token. Yeah, that's inspired by Terra, which kind of like. So here is the I think last slide on the transition path. So basically, right now we have the ARTIS Sigma 1 blockchain. So we have the current ATS holders. They as far as well, we've spoken to many, especially the larger ones. They will all move over to the XI chain. We already have a bridge open, and so they have to bridge over their ATS to XI. They will then have a token in which they will move through a launch contract, and within that launch contract they will get from the coin supply, they will get 20% back onto their address. So basically 1 to 5 redistribution. 10% will go into an auction and liquidity pool, and 70% into community pool, and the maximum supply, as I said, so is 300 million ATS. The whole pools will be governed by the ARTIS DAO, and for March 26, it is planned to conduct a Gnosis easy auction on XDAI chain. So the whole system is currently developed. It is meant to be ready in the second week of March. So kind of tight schedule here, but let's just cross our fingers that it will work. For a couple of words for the auctioning system. It's a fair auctioning system. So basically you can bid over the whole time of the auction, and if there is a certain amount of tokens which is auctioned off, and if you are one of those which are getting tokens. Let's say you're having 100 tokens to offer, and the minimum amount somebody's buying is 1 token, and now 200 tokens are actually could be sold. Then the best bidders will get the tokens, and the settlement price will be set to the lowest possible price for getting all the 100 tokens into the hands of the participants in the auction. So meaning that even if you offered a ridiculously high price, you still have only to pay the settlement price, and not basically the price you offered to get the coin. And you can do that over the whole length of the auction. So basically, in our case, we think about 1 month having the auction open, and that has to be clarified. There will be some incentive for the early starters as well. So basically, that nobody has to kind of wait. What do the others? There will be some incentive right in the first starting hours, or the first day for March 26. And after the auction, it is basically a part of the pool for auction liquidity, and the collected money from the auction itself will be used to list on HoneySwap. It is not yet clear what kind of token pair to be listed, but I I assume we will find out at least latest when we are somewhere in the middle of the auction, what kind of token pair makes the most sense. Some people like two volatile tokens, others like it combined with a stable coin. So we will see. And then ARTIS 2.0 is planned to start in Q3 this year. So we are confident that the Honey Badger consensus will be ready and working at that time, and also the other things. So basically, we know how to start networks, but it's the technical thing which we say, well, let's say Q3 to be on the safe side, and not trying to push it to Q2 or end of Q2, and maybe have to postpone it. So that's basically the plan. So yeah, here is our claim. So we want to be the decentralized backbone for tomorrow's zero carbon society. Some contacts, how you can find us. The webpage is on artis.eco. The roadmap is already updated. The webpage itself will get a makeover to represent basically the things what we're building into it. You find us on Twitter on artis underscore eco, and the Telegram is still on Leptan Collective, but that is likely to change, and we are also looking rather for a Discord channel, and not have using Telegram rather for announcements or something like that, and have more kind of direct interaction on Discord, but that has to be set up. So, well, thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to answer any possible question you have. Yes, you can, or you can leave it open for the questions. So whatever works best. I don't know. I think any questions, guys?
Sorry, I didn't mean to be. I should have muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, what shall I say? Okay, I can't. You can start asking silly questions.
ARTIS blockchain?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the team members is in here as well. So you see this kind of black and white picture from Didi. So he's basically the mastermind for uh, setting it up. Then he also set up the current system. So basically knows a lot about getting up and running and keep it running uh, and um, and also a lot of on the contract development. Then you know um, um, surfing nerd. So he's working on the contracting system for the postal related stuff, which is in connection different for the ARTIS blockchain because due to the honey badger it has to be adapted and there is David. David is working on the Rust implementation of honey badger. uh, as I said, so far there is no blockchain out there using that consensus algorithm. It's pretty hard. It has a very different kind of logic. Um, the the important part is honey badger, in contrast to basically everything you know out there, doesn't have a leader selection. So you're not selecting somebody to make a block and everybody else is checking it. It's a threshold signature scheme where you are collecting all the transactions and everybody's contributing and then they sign it and you can't really say somebody made a block, the others checked it. They all make it together, and that makes it very different to everything out there. It also makes it totally asynchronous. So basically, let's say your network is becoming slow for whatever kind of reason. I don't know. Somebody cut the cable and some of the network is kind of disconnected and can't contribute. Then it just takes longer to make or sign the block. Once the cable is fixed, it immediately jumps back to full speed. So it has this very nice of depending on the speed on the network, it will be very fast and final, and that's a nice property. So David is working on the full integration there. Peter, he's more on the front end side. So basically, things where you are interconnecting with the blockchain, and Marcus is as well on the front end side, more on the web page side, which is working on it, and yeah, and me basically. So that's the team around the ARTIS blockchain. What we're currently working on.
I know you said that it was in 2017 when you guys started. Um, what made you guys, choose this direction? It's been probably 3 years, almost 4 years now. You guys are developing this stuff. How has it evolved from when it first started?
It's like in 17 everything went crazy. Well, maybe a little bit more background. Even in 16 we came together from meetup, blockchain up Graz. We formed and met regularly every month, and that kind of brought together that kind of group which initially started building the cooperative. And then in 17, when ICO craziness kind of started, we worked already towards defining a system, and we looked at different consensus algorithms and so on and so on. And we defined and outlined a system which we intended to have a token sale in, I think, April or something, 2018, when the market was already going down, and then having troubles to fight against the wind, kind of say. We looked at all the options and decided and also published that we will not conduct a token sale at that time, because we don't think it is right, and we don't want to use all the shady social media kind of tactics what you would have had to use to get any kind of attention onto the project. And then continued on looking at what kind of technologies are available, and had a close look on the POA network structure, and decided that this is the thing which is available, works now, and can be used and set up in a sufficient amount of time, and therefore we gravitated to start the system in this way and work from there. Now, I would say 2 years later, knowing better what the energy market really needs and what mobility market really needs, and seeing what is happening on gas costs on Ethereum, and seeing what technology-wise is kind of changed a lot of things, that kind of brought us to the structure what I just presented. So it's like it's tackling many of the problems what we kind of see for using it for things other than DeFi, to be sure that it's working and it's helpful for those markets. And there you need a stable coin, and there you can't have highly fluctuating transaction fees, and also kind of addressing things which are possible but nobody addressed yet, like the streaming money and streaming data area, and kind of also making sure that you have a consensus which is super highly performant. So we had a test net where we tested like 450 transactions per second. So you have a highly performant, super fast, low latency network, which has no forking. So basically everything is final once it is settled, which is a very nice property, and therefore we think a lot about that it solves issues which you currently accept that are out there, and which will be very beneficial in those other markets.
Great. I'm looking at your site here right now, and you mentioned the energy market, and with the whole influx of the electric vehicles, so EVs, how are you guys planning to integrate, your technology with these companies? Do you guys have partnerships set up with EVs that will be promoting your network?
We had 2018 already, I think, no, 19. 19 we had a cool demonstration on a charging system. So what we actually did at that time is we used conductive charging, which is mounted to the car, and which connects basically to a plate lying on the ground. And we provided the continuous payment. At that time, we moved DAI from Ethereum network via bridge to the ARTIS network, made it streamable, as I said. So we already worked on that one. Superfluid made it now kind of generally applicable, but we used the streaming DAI to pay for the charging on that EV car. There is quite some research and development going on. We are currently again in another project, which is doing robots charging and payment. So you see quite some movement there for the charging and payment of things, or EVs. Um, it's um, it's also another thing what we're doing with another partner, where basically the energy communities, they're having that kind of problem that they're if they want to have a charging point, for a public charging point for the EVs, then maintaining and getting those charging points available for others is pretty hard, and you're usually left off with platforms you have to integrate, and then you pay a lot per month for that integration on those platforms. And there we are working on something where you are easily able to provide a public charging point, still be able to charge something for the charging, but make it super cheap that you can integrate it. So you see different kind of movements and different kind of reasons why somebody's going for it. But yeah, there is actually quite a high dynamic. I mean, electric cars are still not that many on the road, but it's a super fast growing market, and for the infrastructure, if you have a reliable grid out there, you can easily make a charging point accessible, and make it possible to pay for that charging point. And we're also working on a energy token, which is basically based on the energy consumption and production of the members within an energy community, where you can use that token for payments on a charging point as well. And there it's like an integration with we're looking for an integration with Siemens um, system. So basically using the Minerva app as a wallet, using the Siemens app or the white label branded app for connecting to the wallet, and using the backend from Siemens, which is controlling the charging point. So there is also something going on there.
Great, amazing. Thanks for clearing that up. That sounds
Yeah.
like it's going to be a pretty big project. I know that the European committee had voted something like in 6 years they're going to see like a 50% increase or something like that in cars, and they're going to kind of promote that. So it's going to be super interesting on how they, implement these kind of things. I also want to
Yeah,
ask. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No. It's like in the European Union, I just wanted to say that it's like there is really this kind of Green New Deal, or green recovery after COVID kind of notion, and everybody wants to get money into that space. So you have a lot of kind of activities in different areas where subsidies are provided, and so on and so forth. So it's really like yeah, a lot of money is pouring into that space in order to get it going and get it working, in my opinion.
Also, one more question. Obviously, you guys require energy to run the blockchain. Are you guys using any form of initiatives to offset your carbon costs? For example, do you guys have some dedicated supply that's using, say, solar or something like that?
Uh, well, it's like this is not a private blockchain, so it will be it will be hard to force every validator to do that, to source the energy in a good way. Of course, offsetting is one of the things you can do, and from a kind of a communication perspective, that is likely to make sense. So that's something we can do, basically providing money for an offset. and that's yeah, that's a good idea in my opinion. On the other side, the ARTIS blockchain as is and as it will be in version 2, it doesn't consume a lot of money, a lot of energy. So it's like we're talking about uh, right now. It's like one American household, and even if it's a large network, it will be like 10 households. So it will be a rather negligible kind of amount of money, amount of energy consumed by the network, although it has this kind of rather high performance. And that's also the reason we did some calculations back then, and you can find it on our details website. So we calculated that basically a transaction on the ARTIS network is like 500 times less energy consuming or more efficient than a Visa transaction. And the Visa for the Visa transaction, we have been actually very conservative in the estimate, because it's just their power consumption what we took into account. Did not take into account all the banking infrastructure which has to run as well, that the Visa transaction can be transferred, and all the offices and all that stuff what they are having. So in our opinion, actually, a blockchain network well designed is the most efficient way of doing transactions by far, in comparison to everything you have out there.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. If anyone has any more questions, I feel like Thomas and I are just conversing here. Feel free to speak up. Thomas, if you have any more things, we could always wrap it up as well. Whenever you
Yeah,
want,
sure.
just let me know. I'll give a couple
So
seconds here for people to throw on their mic, so maybe we'll have some more takers on here.
One question more. If you're still available. Oh, I just wanted to ask where you are based in Austria.
we are in Graz mostly. So well, currently everybody's at home, but our office is in Graz. So basically, it's if you know Austria, it's rather in the south. Where,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thanks for the
Nice city. So basically, once we can travel again, so you're invited to pass by.
I could gladly take you up on that.
Sweet. Thomas, to wrap it up, you want to give a quick summary of what you talked about for people that are going to skip the video, so they can just
Sure.
skip to the end and you can just summarize it.
Okay. Well, as the blockchain space progresses, we decided that we will develop a new blockchain system. So we have the ARTIS blockchain system right now up and running since 2018, and this one is likely coming to an end, and the new ARTIS 2.0 blockchain system will start as a new blockchain. It is targeting the mobility and energy markets. So it's directly kind of connected to fulfilling the needs for those markets, data markets, energy community markets, and so on and so forth. Rather large areas what kind of interfere with our daily lives, and due to the need for tackling climate change, I think it's clear that everything is going towards renewable energy sources, as well as electric cars, and kind of massive electrification of each and everything what kind of is in our lives. So ARTIS 2.0 will serve that market. It will have couple of core innovations. So it will use a new consensus algorithm, which has very, very nice properties, high throughputs, super fast finality and block times, and streaming money or streaming data. So you will be able to stream tokens, meaning that they will flow from one account to the other in a continuous way, and also a token design where you have a stable token fee, which is or a stable coin fee, which is super important for any real life application, so that people are not kind of stranded with high transaction fees once they set up the applications on the blockchain system. So that's the core innovations on the system. The timeline will be that now in February and early March, the ATS coins will be moved to the XDAI chain. The XDAI chain will basically serve as a host for the time being until the new network starts in the 3. And in the meantime, the coin will be redistributed, so there will be a 300 million ATS total coin supply, and over time we rather think about reducing the total coin supply by introducing our own stable coin, and after that kind of initial phase of transitioning, there will be an auction starting on March 26, an easy auction on the XDAI chain where you can purchase XATS, which will be the token for XDAI. And this will be a 1-month long auction. It is a auction system provided by Gnosis. And after that 1 month of auction, it will there will be a listing on the HoneySwap exchange, and token pair is still to be decided, and from there on it will wait until we actually provides the possibility to start a new network and become a validator on the new network. Demands a certain stake of ATS to be a validator, and there will be, of course, possibility to stake on those validators, as it is known in the XDAI chain. And that's about it, I think.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Thomas. Hope everyone enjoyed the presentation. I'm going to stop the recording now.